is underway. Hawthorn kicking to the left of screen. Deer up against Barnes. And the first free kick gets it from behind. Used the body well, Bernie.
He's a very promising player, this boy. He's kicked a lot of goals in the pre-season practice games, including, I think, a bag of 8 or 9 in one of the practice games. He used the body perfectly there to get a very experienced campaigner, Gary Ayres, out of position. A very strong player overhead is Paul Brown.
Paid to Geelong. Forsman finding Brownless.
Gee, there's a couple of decisions there that were a bit questionable, Bernie.
I think Madigan was expecting the free kick.
Billy Brownless. Key to the success of Geelong's forward setup. Flat looking kick is going to be through though. The first one on the board for Geelong.
Control it, but he gets his kick away quickly to half forward, but a good mark taken by Hinkley. Bernie, how badly do you think Hawthorn will miss players like Chris Mew at centre half back and Dermot Brereton up at the forward line?
Well, I think, Robbo, more than anything, they miss their presence.
Well, look at this from Tony Hall. That's the sort of player Tony Hall is. A quick reply by the Hawks. The margin now is just 1 point.
It's a bad mistake.
Chance here for Hocking. He crushes his way through, and the little left footer is a beautiful pass. Just enough weight on it to find Bairstow running onto it just wide of centre half forward. Bairstow's short pass is magnificent. Good lead by Brown, and he could be a handful there for Gary Ayres. Young, enthusiastic, prepared to run all over the place.
It was a clever lead too, Ian, because he went one way, then the other, and he eventually gained about a 10-metre break on Gary Ayres.
I must have done something right, did I? Ian.
That's
yes, very
Ian.
formal there, Bernie. Here we have Brown from 35 metres. Nice looking kick. Straight through the centre for Geelong's second.
Once again, Jenke takes it. Sweeps the hand pass towards Morrissey, who's got a bit of room. To half forward, his target is Dunstall. Kicked 642 goals in his AFL career.
Gee, it's a big ask putting Tim McGrath on him.
Oh, unbelievable job. I don't think anyone would want the job of playing on Jason Dunstall. We see that excellent use of the body there again.
And the kick has just snuck home. Dunstall gets his first. The Hawks answer the challenge, and interestingly, Geelong preparing to make the change. Bernie, Damien Burke on the sidelines. Pocket. Towards centre wing. Gowers in front.
Playing on the wing, Sandy, on Trevor Poole.
Tall wingman.
191 centimetres.
That's a good mark by Pritchard at the bottom. Under plenty of pressure, Darren Pritchard on that occasion. To the half-forward flank. Paul Deer drifting across in front of the pack.
Yeah, that's a great mark. He always provides a contest at centre half forward.
Looking for Dunstall again. Yes, I think you're right, Robbo.
Yeah, well, that's very true, Robbo. It's a big task for any fullback playing on this man. A player who's averaged 4.4 goals in his career in every match. And just a fraction behind Tony Lockett.
Can quite control it. Chance for Morrissey, and he clears for the Hawks. Wide to half back. Oh, bounce awkward for Gowers. And also Lamb. Allen leaves it behind. Scott, short pass into the pocket. And who's on his own? Terrible, ABLETT. Short pass again, and the mark was taken there by Handley. And few loose players there for Geelong would be a concern for Alan Joyce.
Well, not a good effort there. Johnny Platten had the chance to shepherd Robert Scott out of the contest with Ben Allen coming through from the half-back line. And he just really let Robert Scott come through too easily and get into that contest.
Well, Handley, who is a recruit in the AFL, shoots from 20 metres out and pops it through for Geelong's third goal.
Paul goes back to him. He stabs it towards Gary Hocking. Eludes the tackle. Jenke wanting to celebrate 100 games. Here's Brown again. He's been very dangerous up forward. Off to Scott, who kicks a marvellous goal.
Short spell for him.
Good start by the Cats. Gowes, sensational one-hander. These two sides have become great rivals in recent years. Gowes. Oh, Dunstall again, read it beautifully.
Badly judged there.
The man's area.
Badly judged there by McGrath.
Didn't judge it at all. Came steaming out. Dunstall cool and calm. Again, eyes on the ball.
Yes, McGrath in that front position and then completely misreading it, letting the ball just drift over his head. And Jason Dunstall taking the easiest of chest marks.
From directly in front, 30 metres out. It's bread and butter for Jason Dunstall.
Ruck contest, Barnes, Morrissey. Gets his foot to the ball, doesn't go very far. Hudson's hasn't had a touch yet. Platten. Kick towards full forward, one-on-one, Dunstall. Well done, McGrath. But Dunstall's got it again. He may kick his third. A kick across his shoulder is magnificent football. There's not much McGrath can do about that. 3 goals to Dunstall. And the Hawks hit the front late in the first term. They're 4-3, Geelong 4-2.
Yes, magnificent.
Forward pocket. Geelong doing the attacking. Ablett applies the tackle. Bairstow round his body. Oh, bounces it through. Goal for goal here at Waverley Park. Here we go, second quarter at Waverley Park. Burke back on the ground and in the ruck for Geelong up against Deer. Morrissey also working hard. Pushes the ball down to Hall, onto Allen. This looks dangerous. Morrissey is a freak, Jamie Morrissey. No, goes back to Platten. Put him under pressure. Number 4 for Dunstall. Gives it away to Allen and he goes. Great team play by the defending champions.
Yes, it certainly was, Sandy.
Across his body, goes out towards half-back. Bounces awkward for all players. Couch favourably. Slips a beautiful little hand pass to Forsman. Forsman time to steady and shoot and goal. Good kick by Darren Forsman, although from a Hawthorn point of view, he seemed to have an eternity. No, good play, Cooper. Got him out of the contest, gathered the footy and kicked it back to centre-half forward, where Hudson marks, and now Paul Hudson gets into the game. His first kick coming up. A couple of Hawthorn players have been very quiet. Kick into the square. Oh, well done, but Dunstall recovers. Left foot shot, and he's now kicked 4. Cat-like recovery by Dunstall. Langford kicks it beautifully again. Back in towards the centre. Handley could have nearly been paid. Jarman, lovely hand pass. Finds Jenke. Jenke streaming down the middle of the ground. Nice kick by Jenke towards full forward. Oh, Hall, look at this. Unselfishly, Hudson runs into an open goal and couldn't possibly miss from there. Well, what a passage of play by Hawthorn. From the Langford kick in, within 8 seconds, they'd kicked a goal.
Yes, an amazing side, Hawthorn. Probably the pass away before he was eventually tackled.
Oh, down goes Madigan.
That's not a free kick. What is?
Gowers. And he's still down, Madigan, behind play. Miles. Burke. Still at centre-half forward for Hawthorn.
And out of bounds on the full. Couch in the pocket. Well, he might want to go on with this because he's a left footer. He does. Stabs in towards goal and it's a beauty. Paul Couch gets his first goal. And it is still goal for goal. 4 points the difference, favouring the Hawks.
There's nothing. Now playing with Geelong. Stephen Handley, and he's doing the ruck work in the right forward pocket. Madigan's recovered, which is good. Bairstow, Couch. Can he kick another one? He can. Well done, Couchy. Couch gets his second goal. And after a very good first quarter, he's only 2 kicks in this second term.
Forward, Langford. Desperate. Brown off the ground. This could be Forsman in with a chance. Swings round his body. Oh, he's kicked another one. What a beauty. What a beauty. 2 goals to Darren Forsman, both in this quarter. And now the Cats go to an 8-point lead.
Yes, and 3 goals coming in about 4 minutes. And here we see Chris Langford just tapping the ball rather dangerously, I thought, back towards the Geelong goal. And it came unstuck because there we see clever play by Forsman. He had plenty of time to get around on his right foot. It wasn't a difficult snap in the end.
The Cats by 8 points, just on 11 minutes remaining in this vital second quarter. Barnes tries to get a second flick at it, but it's Platten who takes it out of the middle with pace and determination. To half forward, Dunstall with the one hand. He is simply too good.
Yeah, not a bad mark that one, Sandy. Using his body well again. Because Tim McGrath, actually, he's not all that small up in the upper body. He's pretty strong himself, but Jason Dunstall just doing the wrestling and able to take it in the left hand first.
Who wants Brownless but doesn't get him. Forsman, well, did it well. Sweeps it, good vision to Couch. Paul Couch for his third for the quarter. He's kicked it.
And all of a sudden, Geelong skipping away to a 14-point advantage when we thought the signs were ominous for Geelong early in this second quarter. I mean, watch the replay. Forsman, a very good long hand pass, finding Couch out on his own. And that's Paul Couch's third goal for the quarter. Darren Forsman's kicked 2 for the quarter.
So less than 7 minutes left in the term. Geelong leading by 14 points. An important 7 minutes for both sides. Lamb, lovely little hand pass to Scott. Scott from 50 yards, 50 metres, kicks the goal. Second goal to Robert Scott. And Geelong showing Hawthorn a clean pair of heels at the moment.
And his kick to Brownless is a beauty. They're playing very, very well at the moment. He continues on. They've got not 100, but 2 or 3. Oh, Bairstow could have gone on with the job.
Well, they look to be in tatters at the moment. Alan Joyce and Brian Coleman looking on, and they'd be looking on in amazement, I think, that so many Geelong players running into that forward line without an opponent.
Mark Bairstow, the captain goals. So the Cats continue on their merry way. It's his second, Geelong's 12th. They lead 12. The Cats leading, but it's Deere who takes it out of the centre. A hurried kick to the half-forward line. Hudson showed courage, going back into the pack, but couldn't complete the mark. Hinkley showed composure, and he gets it away. They're able to run it from half-back down towards the half-forward line. Handley, have those lessons had an effect?
Push in the back.
Yeah, it's a good decision. Silly play there by Handley, and that's something you have to get into your place. Some discipline. It was going over the boundary line, and just ridiculous to do those sort of things.
Cooper's kick back towards centre wing. Mark going to be paid. Tony Hall.
Actually, the umpire indicating he was being held.
So Hall to take it on centre wing. Had a pretty good game, Tony Hall, today. But the Hawks are going to have to find something in this quarter. Morrissey, the only Hawk working hard in the pack.
What I was getting at just before the game recommenced, Malakalis hasn't been used at all, Burke sparingly, and Hawthorn have had to swap and change to try and find something, get it come some sort of a spark.
McDonald's kick goes to Morrissey. He's from 50 metres. Set sail for home with a long kick. Dunstall is asking, and he's going to get it. Held when not in possession.
Yes, well, Tim McGrath obviously very worried about Jason Dunstall's goal-kicking potential, and why wouldn't he be? And Dunstall indicating very clearly to the umpire that he was being held.
Dunstall has 4, 3 in the first quarter, 1 in the second, and now 1 in the third quarter. So the margin back to 22 points, Bernie.
Yes, and never write Hawthorn off, because this combination is capable of anything. They've been under enormous pressure, and they're a bit of 6 of one, 6 of one and half a dozen of the other, because Dunstall was definitely holding McGrath in the first instance.
Well, that's what happens. I mean, look, he's earned his reputation, Jason Dunstall. He's a great player, but I'm certain that youngsters have to earn their stripes before they're acknowledged by the men in white.
Maybe.
So interestingly, Paul Deere is the #1 ruckman for Hawthorn at the start of this second half. His brother Greg Deere is on the interchange bench with...
well, Hideout's favouring Geelong 20-13, so I had to make that move.
Gary Ablett's kick towards half forward. Collins and Gary Hocking. Gowers drops the ball, no free kick. Ball comes clear now towards half forward. Good tap on by Bairstow. Gary Hocking hard up against the boundary line. Shot for goal. This is going to go very, very close. And it hits the post. It could have bounced to the right as easily as it bounced straight ahead and may have even been a Geelong goal. So Hawks breathe a sigh of relief. Langford kicks in, finds Ayres. 8-10 plays 12-9. 23 points in favour of the Cats. Ayres further to Jenke. Jenke's got a little bit of time, not much. Short pass, did that go the required distance? Yes, says the umpire. Collins forced to kick quickly. Ablett marks, and Gary Ablett will put Geelong within scoring distance. He goes for the torpedo punt kick, doesn't quite come off. Good mark, standing his ground, Ben Allen in front of Billy Brownless.
Not a percentage kick there from Gary Ablett. Why wouldn't you kick a drop punt?
Ben Allen from half back. Kicks to the centre wing area. Gowers takes the ball and kicks it in towards the centre. And a mark is taken by Paul Deere. He's come into the play, given a different role. He's not being tagged. Stoneham did well in the first half. A great punch away by McGrath. And then a good bump. Geelong just hold it up there at half back. And a boundary throw-in will take place.
Well, Paul Deere was well shepherded by the umpire in that centre when he went for that mark, Robbo. I don't know whether you saw that, but the umpire getting in the way of the Geelong player.
McDonald, kick towards half forward, punched away by the Geelong defence. Chance now for Pritchard. Good kick to the centre of the goals. Bounce a little awkward for Hall. Stoneham close by. Hall plays it in front of himself. Now taps it away. McGrath on Jarman, but Jarman's little kick. Ablett down. That could be a free kick. Play on, says the umpire.
Yeah, good decision.
McGrath, little left foot kick is effective and finds Forsman at half back.
Darren Forsman. 6 hand passes and 6 kicks for Forsman. This one goes down over centre wing. Handley. Madigan throws him over the line. He didn't have the football.
Yes, good decision there again too by the umpire. Handley slung after he had got rid of the ball.
Oh, Malcolm Blight's been busy at half time. There's Handley. Hocking is the flyer. That was Gary Hocking. Couldn't take the mark. But eventually over the line. In Geelong's attacking zone in front of the small scoreboard here at Waverley Park. Shows the Cats 12-9. Hawthorn 8-10. Handley, Madigan at the back, Ben Allen. Handley tried to do it with the left hand down to Forsman. Madigan almost had his head pulled off. And we'll find ourselves with another bounce. Handley, front spot. Pass Cooper, Couch claim from behind by McDonald. Ball? No. Yeah. Dermot Brereton missing from the action today, but an interested onlooker. Couch gets a short kick straight to Trevor Poole, who's under pressure. Jenke in there doing the tackling, but the ball is held in. A stalemate at the moment on that outer side.
The Hawks need a big quarter here.
Yes, they do.
Damien Burke still on the bench with Spiro Malakalis.
Madigan over the top wins it. Forsman won't keep it in. Well, he will. Hocking tries some tunnel ball tactics.
Gee, there's no quarter being given now, is there?
Oh, it's very tight.
Well, I think all the players appreciate that this next 10 or 12 minutes is so critical to the result.
Well, if Hawthorn was to get a run on, 3 or 4 quick ones, they could go on with the job, whereas Geelong, if they can hold them now, could start the season off on a winning note. So it's tight. Handley and Madigan again. That's probably 5 bounces they've had, all within a space of 50 metres. To centre wing and a good diving mark. He does that so well. Tony Hall. Just leans on the opponent and then dives to take the grab. Kicks to the 50-metre line. Dunstall out in front. Couldn't take the mark. Steve Hocking rides one bump. Gets rid of it. His brother chases and sees it over the line.
Looks like Tony Hall's now playing at centre half forward, being picked up by Stoneham, with Paul Deere doing the ruck work.
Yeah, well, Hawthorn really had to make some changes. They were a bit bogged down. Their main goal scorer was Dunstall in that first half, kicking 4. They didn't get much from the other players. Bumped by Lamb. ABLETT's gone the wrong way. Going to give a goal away. Oh, Jason. Missing from point-blank range. He's kicked 5-2.
Well, again, an indication of the pressure that's being applied by Geelong. Jason Dunstall, normally you would have put that down for a goal without any problems, but Geelong, so intense has the pressure been that Jason Dunstall just expecting a tackle to come a little bit sooner.
What about Gary Ablett? He must have had a bit of a mental block there, kicking the ball the wrong way. Kick in comes to the near side. Good punch by Hall on Stoneham. Ablett. Kick has been smothered. Gowers should receive a free kick. No. Lamb the tackler. Umpire will call for a bounce. Now the players really having to earn their kicks in the first match of the season. If that's any indication, we're in for a fairly entertaining time in close quarters. Gowers gets the tap. Ablett forced to kick with the left, goes towards centre wing. The bounces are very, very awkward for the Hawthorn player in Cooper, and we'll have a boundary throw in on centre wing.
Flick towards Cooper. Hocking through, but without it. Jarman has had a quiet day. Couch working hard with Paul at the bottom for the Cats. And that's how hard it is to get a kick. Pressure cooker situation here at the moment. Ball on centre wing. Barnes doing the ruck work, but taken by Morrison. Round his body to half forward. Pull to Scott is effective. On to Hinkley. Back to Scott. Robert Scott is showing some of that form that got him into a state team several years ago. Jarman has been quiet. It's a great deliverer of the football, Darren Jarman. Now it's with Darren Pritchard. Wants to go over the top. Eventually has to go long. Deep into full forward. Dunstall at the back, but it beats him over the line for one behind.
Well, normally you would have put that down for a goal to Hawthorn too, because they had a situation 3-on-1 and Jason Dunstall just leading and then going back. He wasn't sure what he should do because there was a bit of doubt in the Hawthorn player's mind once again.
Yes, the player with the ball, Darren Pritchard, just a little uncertain. That kick in, has it been marked by Lamb? Yes, it has. Collins very quickly on the scene, but Lamb confidently runs away and kicks it towards the wing. Poole can't mark, but Lamb's still there, and he's kicked it out on the full. It certainly did hit his shin, but obviously the boundary umpire feeling that it had gone over before doing just that, as Greg Deere and Anderson warm up on the boundary line. Oh, gee whiz, it's tight in there. Very, very difficult to get a clean possession. And the umpire's having a lot of trouble now trying to get the ball out into the open. I think everybody realises that it's a, it is a difficult time. Geelong leading at the moment by 21 points, and Hawthorn striving to get back into the game. Taylor, number 25 for Hawthorn, ex-Fitzroy player. It's a big lump of a lad too. Barnes in front. He's done a pretty good job, John Barnes, in the ruck. Gary Hocking at close quarters. Pritchard, what can he do? Nothing.
Hocking and Platten having a bit of a go.
Of course, they clashed in that grand final also, Sandy.
Yep.
A couple of years ago.
So a throw in. McDonald gets a hurried kick. That too will go out of bounds. They've gained 25 metres.
In a ruck contest, are you allowed to push your opponent straight out of the way so you've got just fair go at the ball like that?
Well, they make their own rules up half the time, the umpires there. You see some instances they'll pay a free kick, and other times they'll let them go.
Hocking gets it away to Lamb. Has a bounce, wanting to sneak away from Platten. Hinkley shows lovely skills. Tremendous calmness about his game. He finds Ablett. Burke coming back onto the ground for the Cats as Ablett doesn't quite get onto one.
Well, I don't believe that's team football, Sandy, just going for the long bomb like that. I'm sure Malcolm Blight wouldn't be all that happy. There's two players making leads up on that forward line, and Ablett try and kick a goal from 65 metres out.
Burke is back on. Barnes is the player to be spelled. Deere and Burke will contest this. Tapped on by Robert Scott. Hocking. Hurried left foot snap. In towards Brownless territory. Cry of ball. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Langford did that well, didn't he, Bernie?
Well, he did it well on that night football on Darren Wheeldon. He gave him no space to move whatsoever. But Billy Brownless was a sitting target there.
Langford towards Gowers. A little too far underneath the football. This opens it up for Forsman once again. The target again is Brownless. This time he's out in front.
Well, it was a good kick by Forsman.
He uses the ball very well, actually, Darren Forsman. He's kicked 2 goals.
Brownless directly in front, just outside 50. Drop punt on its way. Looks very good. It's another one for the Cats. Steadying goal for Geelong. Brownless gets his second. They're 13-9. Hawthorn are 8-12.
It didn't appear to be a great kick off the boot from Billy Brownless, kicking from about 53 metres out. It wasn't one of those booming kicks we normally see from Billy Brownless, just struggling to get there, and Paul Brown just on the line, keeping the Hawthorn players out of the contest. So some good work there by the young Geelong player.
Geelong lead by 27 points. They led by 28 points at half-time. So after 18 or 19 minutes of hard slog in the third term, the Hawks are only 1 point closer. The ball at centre-half forward for Hawthorn. Lovely hand pass by Morrissey. Platten goes into an open goal. Dunstall, look, he keeps his footing brilliantly and gets his 6th goal. McGrath slipping at the critical stage. Dunstall, he's got some composure. He's kicked Hawthorn's 9th goal.
Yes, but that's what full forwards dream about. The ball coming out of the centre there so very quickly before the defenders had a chance to get down there, and it's a one-on-one contest. A bit of a flip out there by Jamie Morrissey, an open hand pass onto Johnny Platten, and Jason Dunstall 6 goals, a good performance.
Yes, 6 goals out of 9. The other goal kickers have been Paul Hudson, Ben Allen and Tony Hall. So Hawthorn can thank Jason Dunstall at this stage for their score on the scoreboard. Morrissey can't quite do much with the football. That kick has been marked and did go the required distance. Hinkley away to Couch. McDonald a little late on the scene. He downs Couch after he kicked the ball. Play goes on up towards the 50-metre line. Hocking away to Bairstow. Bairstow into an open goal, and Geelong reply so quickly. 3 goals to Mark Bairstow, and the captain doing it pretty well. Geelong 14-9, lead Hawthorn 9-12.
They're doing it very well, in fact. Geelong answering the challenge very quickly. Look at this in replay again. There's Paul Brown, who's really giving Gary Ayres something to think about in this match. He's been very lively forward. They've had the players who are prepared to run and get into position, and it's paid dividends.
At the moment, the Cats have the answers. Back in the middle once more. Jarman hammers it out of the centre, down towards Hall at half forward. Morrissey follows up play. He's going to run into trouble. He's lost it.
Good tackle by Rogers.
Yes, he is pretty quick though, Robbo, as you said earlier. Or Sandy commented on his speed. He's very quick there, picking up Jamie Morrissey.
McGrath charges down the ground, kicks to half forward. Burke was there, got one hand to it, but that was all. Forsman at the bottom, sits over the football. Madigan tries to get out. Eventually spooned out towards Jarman. Quickly on to Ben Allen. Hawthorn open it up to the half-forward line. And the mark taken by Jason Taylor. Plays on quickly. Hawthorn looking more positive as Cooper kicks to Dunstall. Jason Dunstall has kicked 6.
Just good use of the body there, just a slight nudge out. A decision the umpires to decide whether it's a push or just a gentle nudge, and he decided in Jason Dunstall's favour. Not much in it.
Well, this for number 7. Should not miss, and does not. 7 goals to Jason Dunstall. The Hawks fire on. They're 10-12, but they trail Geelong 14-9.
7 goals, 3 to Jason Dunstall. And Malcolm Blight still showing some faith in the young full-back Tim McGrath, of course recruited from North Melbourne. Picked up at number 12 in the internal draft. But he's really been run around by Jason Dunstall.
I think they've made the change now back there at full-back. McGrath is now out at half-back on Taylor. And going back to full-back looks as though it could be Miles. But Hawthorn making a surge, momentarily cut off by Stoneham, and he plays on fairly confidently, does Barry Stoneham, kicks it towards centre wing. Gowers could have nearly given away a free kick, but it's a mark to Burke anyway. What can Geelong do now? They've had all the answers so far. Kick to centre half forward, no mark taken. Bunch of players, umpire picks out a free kick. It's going to Hawthorn, to be taken by Pritchard. He goes away quickly to Jenke. Jenke's left foot kick is very, very good. Gives Jarman a bit of space. And what a creative player Jarman is. He runs away from Burke. There's some confidence for you. And the kick towards Dunstall's not bad. And Dunstall's got it. Just beautifully controlled kick by Jarman. And Dunstall judged it magnificently.
Yes, it was good play by Jarman because he knew that he only had to get around Damien Burke, probably not noted for his speed. He took a couple of bounces and delivered the ball beautifully to the lead of Jason Dunstall.
Dunstall shot for goal. He doesn't miss many of those. He's now kicked 8.
4 for the quarter, Dunstall.
And 8 out of 11 has kept Hawthorn in the contest. Gee whiz, Geelong, if they lose this game, they'll be worried, won't they? Will they ever beat Hawthorn?
Well, I don't think you can ever relax against a side like Hawthorn. We never would be expecting to lie down and take it easy, and Hawthorn never do. As we see Darren Jarman, just running around very easily, getting around Burke. And Dunstall's really, it's perfect conditions for a full forward to take those marks out in front. Not much a fullback can do about that with a delivery of that class.
The Hawthorn chant goes up as the reigning champs mount a challenge. Geelong have been able to answer the earlier challenges. Pritchard has the ball held. That's how umpire Brian Sheehan sees it as well. And we'll have another bounce.
In fact, Dunstall has kicked all of Hawthorn score in this third quarter.
Morrissey was at the bottom of the pack. Socket off the ground. Through the arms of Jenke again it goes, but it's Deer who butters up nicely. Taken away by McDonald to centre wing. The Hawks just steadying in the past few minutes. A brave attempt to mark was by Tony Hall. Here's Morrissey. Over the top he goes. Danger here. In trouble was Hudson. Back to Collins. He shoots in towards goal, and the Hawks are coming back. Collins gets his first. And have we got a game on our hands?
Have we ever? Only 9 points of difference.
The big difference here is that they've swapped it around. They've put Paul Deer in the centre.
Yep.
But Geelong haven't got the ball out of the centre.
No, they have not.
And they haven't been able to contain the Hawks.
Well, Paul Deer is for a player of his size, he does an enormous job in the ruck, and he competes so very hard.
'93 plays 84. 7 minutes left in the third quarter. Hawthorn mounting a real serious challenge to the Cats. Jarman caught. Geelong striving desperately to contain this fantastic lineup of Hawthorn. Make a few changes, swap a few blokes around, and issue the individual challenges. Platten attempted kick off the ground. Gary Hocking. Couch is caught. Deer the tackler. Paul Deer.
They just seem a lot more urgent in this quarter, Hawthorn. Their players there doing all the hard tackling. Damien Burke still on the bench. Hasn't had a big influence on the game. Of course, reported earlier in the match.
Well, his preparation was not what you'd call perfect. Big punch up towards centre half forward. Getting back Jenky, had a little bit of a look. Allen there to help him out. Allen's kick to centre half forward. Taylor flies, should have taken the mark. Goes after it again. Good recovery, good persistence. Collins has livened it up. Short pass, okay. Pritchard marks well within scoring distance.
And he'll go back and have a shot, no doubt, Robbo.
And if he kicks this, Bernie, it will only be 3 points the difference.
Yes, a vital kick here from Darren Pritchard, only from 40 metres out, 45 at the most.
Drop punt kick, straight through the centre. Pritchard kicks his first goal. He's also kicked 3 behinds, and he becomes Hawthorn's 6th goal kicker. Geelong by 3 points.
So a great quarter of football by Hawthorn, 6-goal term. Geelong only able to manage 2. There a mark should have been taken by Taylor. That may have ended up all right though, because he was able to play on, get that hand pass there to Andrew Collins. A clever little chip pass with everyone going back towards the goal face.
Geelong fans stunned, Hawthorn fans delirious. Centre bounce once again. Who can win it out of the middle? Jarman goes in over the top of Hocking. And another bounce. Great comeback, so the scene is set for a big last quarter. Just over 5 minutes remaining in this third. Deer. A high kick. Collins underneath it. So too Barnes. Scott claimed by Morrissey. A real sense of urgency now amongst the Hawthorn players. Platten free kick at the bottom.
They're getting in there first, Sandy. They're putting their bodies in and doing all the hard tackling.
What they're renowned for. You've got a couple of loose players here. Deer or Jarman, take your choice. It's Paul Deer up towards the forward line. Dunstall at the back. He read it so well. Again, just eyes for the football only.
There's better judgment shown again by Jason Dunstall. And Hawthorn starting to control the ball around midfield, which is making it so much easier for the forwards. He decided to lead, and then he held up his lead, waited back.
And his kick is ninth as Hawthorn hit the front. 5 goals this quarter. The Hawks are back. And Dunstall has 9, Bernie.
Yes, as I said, you can never write Hawthorn off. There's just been a great side through the 70s, 80s and 90s. Probably the best, well, I think equal to any side that's ever played. This Hawthorn side, they're just a complete football team. They've got all the answers, a back line, centre line, and a terrific full forward in Dunstall.
7 goals so far in the term. We've still got 4.5 minutes left. Now Stoneham back onto Dunstall, his third opponent for the day. And I just wondered why Malcolm Blight left it as it was, and I think maybe because of the balance of the team. They were going so well the way they were set up. Now they've had to swap it around a bit, and they've lost the momentum. The ball at half forward. In comes Hudson. He's been quiet all day. What will he do? Oh, Dunstall overruns it. Made one of his rare mistakes. Hinckley's in trouble. Platten puts pressure on. Hinckley's kick across the face of goal. Bounces free in the opposite back pocket. Pools a chance. Forced to kick with the left. Scott underneath it. Recovery not bad. Overruns it. Back goes Forsman. Jenky there to try the smother. The ball goes over for a boundary throw in right half forward for Hawthorn.
Gee, they're under pressure now, Geelong, aren't they?
Enormous pressure. Just a couple of the things, a couple of the options they've taken. It just shows you the way the game has swung around.
Yes, it's all forced by just Hawthorn having to make the changes to lift. And now Geelong a little rattled. Scott. Kick towards centre half forward. Marking contest, it's been taken. And taken well by Bairstow. Geelong fans screaming for a 50-metre penalty. Not forthcoming. Bairstow. Certainly 2 kicks from goal. Kicks it into the forward line. Jarman. Oh, was that nearly classified as a throw?
Yep.
It was. Now, he should have really taken the option with the left hand.
Yes, Robbo, definitely.
And the free kick is going to Paul Brown. He's just over 50 metres from goal, so it'll be a real top kick to get the distance from here. Fancies his chances, puts it up in the air, it'll land in the square. Oh, Billy was high, Ablett's there, Ayres to pick up the crumbs and clear for Hawthorn. Back towards half-back, bounce awkward for Gowers. In comes Paul Deere, he's caught. Don't stop. Lamb tries to get the ball towards Bairstow, he runs away, backs himself. Bairstow goes for goal and drills it. Oh, nearly very, very close. Ayres just able to get his hand on the floating ball as it was going through the goals, and it's through for a behind. Hawthorn by 2 points.
Ayres from the back pocket to Platten on the half-back line. With a couple of options. Collins has been busy this quarter. Now they're starting to move it around. Madigan, long and low, in towards half forward. Clever kick, good mark by Hudson.
As Hudson finally able to break clear. His only second mark for the day, coming up for his fourth kick. Stephen Hocking has done a magnificent job in containing Paul Hudson.
Kicked one goal, that was in the second quarter. This to stretch the Hawks' lead. Pulls it to the left. One behind. They'll stretch it, but by only one. It's been a magnificent quarter of football by Hawthorn. 14-13. Goes 14-10. Just over a minute remaining. It's all going to come down to the last quarter. Barnes overruns it. Goes back and gets it again. Almost holds it in. Anderson slung to the ground. Rogers and Morrissey see it over the boundary line.
Well, so it looked as if it could have almost been a high tackle there. May have been awarded to the Hawthorn player.
Paul and McGrath carrying on for a moment. Miles gets it out to Steve Hocking. He brushes a couple of tackles aside and finds Gary Hocking. On to Trevor Poole, who slips at the crucial stage. Just picks it up in time. Jenke also slipped, recovered well to get a hand to it. Now Scott, after taking from Forsman, goes down towards Brown. Oh, Ayres has got him this time, but not before he finds Robert Scott, who chips it back in towards half forward. Taken off hands by Allen. Now to Pritchard. They're starting to run. Pritchard from the middle. A long floating kick in towards the half forward line. The mark is taken. And Hawthorn through Jason Taylor go further forward to Dunstall all alone.
Be careful, that could almost be 50.
It's amazing, Sandy. It's all turned around because of maybe Robert Scott trying to be a little bit too flash with the pass up in the forward line. Hawthorn got possession through Allen. Great hands by Pritchard. And now it's with Dunstall, chance to kick his 9th goal.
And this to make it 6 for the quarter for Jason Dunstall. An important kick for the Hawks, and he's kicked it. What a quarter of football. The reigning champs are back on track. At three-quarter time they lead. 15-13, 103. Geelong are 14-10, 94. Quarter. 103 plays 94. Hawthorn leads. Barnes has a 35-metre hammer from the middle. Says to Forsman, you run. And he's beautifully claimed by Pritchard. Brown sees it over the line.
You know, that's an interesting one. Forsman has to make the play. Gathers it. The Hawthorn player comes in from behind, rides him into the ground. Umpire calls play on, boundary throw in.
What are you saying? Should have been a free kick to Forsman?
I think it was definitely a chance for that man to get a free kick.
Question asked again by the Geelong players. This time it's Ben Allen at the bottom of the pack. First goal is going to be very, very important. Ayres does well to Jarman. Thought about the hand pass, then onto the left foot. Down towards centre wing. And that's a very good mark taken by Jason Taylor.
He's certainly given a lift across that half-forward line since he came on the ground, the former Fitzroy player.
Goes long. Stoneham is with Dunstall. Hall almost chipped in from the side. Pritchard hammers it wide. Now Platten a chance. Close to the boundary line. It's swinging back. It's a goal. The Rat is back. 16-13 plays 14-10.
Well, we were waiting to see who'd kick the first goal for the quarter, and Hawthorn, with the players who are prepared to do the running. A very good mark by Taylor, setting that up. There's Pritchard with a little tap on, and the support run there from Johnny Platten, and a great goal running towards the boundary line from that forward pocket.
Well, the question now is being asked, what are Geelong made of? They controlled this game for 2.5 quarters, and the Hawthorn machine has taken it right up to them. Hudson nearly threw it out. Scott can't get through just quite. ABLETT moves it forward. Chance for Lamb. Player running in support as Bairstow. Gathers, chased by Jarman, who looks as though he may be playing on Bairstow. Up towards full forward. Ayres. Well done, Gary Ayres. You can't beat experience. Brown has given him something to think about all day, but Gary Ayres a great mark in the last line of defence. Short kick, Jarman. Getting some space now. Darren Jarman. Short kick, ineffective. Gowers away to Jarman. Fiddly stuff out there by Hawthorn. Jarman again with the right hand when it should have been the left. Kick off the ground by Madigan. Goes up towards half forward. Hall controls it beautifully and then does an airy, if you'd call it that, and misses it completely. Goes over for boundary throw.
Actually, Bernie, Robbo said they were fidgeting about with it. They still got it 70 metres, didn't they, in the end?
They did, with the kick off the ground by Madigan, but Darren Jarman delivery certainly wasn't all that good.
Deere trying to do the work from behind. Here he is again. This time his kick is high, Jarman. Oh, the big man's underneath it again, Jason Taylor.
Very impressive game by Taylor.
Great debut for him. And should he kick this?
Playing only his 6th game of senior AFL football.
24 years of age and 196 centimetres. I tell you what, he's a handy recruit to have.
He'll be kicking from just inside 50. Gets behind a drop punt. That's a fair kick. One behind.
Only fair.
The crowd was riding it. 16-14 they advanced to. Geelong have got to do something. Couch from the back line to Steve Hocking at halfback. Crosses the centre. McDonald in trouble. Goes for the back handball. It was meant for Jarman. He claimed Scott beautifully. Scott again will get a second chance. This time he's away. Gives it to Poole. Up into the forward line he goes. Holding on from both parties. McDonald gives it away. Hawthorn defence combining well again. This is Gowers. Sweeps it long to Platten. Platten can run. 2 bounces. Has a look up to the forward line. He's got to go very wide. And Higley chips in to take the mark for the Cats.
Higley at half back. Geelong need to score the next goal if they're to win the match. Time ticking away, getting down to 20 minutes. Hawthorn holding up. Forsman on Collins. Platten quickly. Can't do much with it. Couch pulled off by Ayres. And pulled off. .10 plays 94. Jarman away to Cooper. Cooper's kicked to centre half forward. Hawthorn again a chance. McGrath gathers the ball nicely, kicks it back in towards the centre, a little risky. Looking into the sun was Gary Hocking, but he's able to mark on the defensive side of the centre. He plays on now, kicks with that left foot nicely towards half forward, and the mark is taken by Brown.
Too far out to score. Puts them inside 50 towards Brownless. Pressured over the line, and in frustration he kicks it over the line.
Well, that should be a free kick against Billy Brownless.
It is.
Very undisciplined. Well, that's not helping the team's cause.
Langford. Well, Miles came over the back, affected the spoil. Barnes gets it away. Malachellis is on the ground. It's taken a long time. To half forward. Geelong want a goal and they want it badly. Robert Scott under pressure. Back to Malachellis, who's running away back towards the centre. That's the pressure Hawthorn's applying. Look at the tackle! And now the Hawk machine opens a path. It will be Platten bouncing his way down the forward line. This is a champion team at work. Dunstall comes out. Can't take the mark. Hawthorn players are fighting for the football. Tony Hall has it held and about.
Yes, Sandy, no doubt about that. And what a side this Hawthorn team is.
Bring tears to your eyes.
Bounce of the ball at half forward for Hawthorn, 50 metres from their goal. Miles, now Hall, good kick by Hall, up towards full forward, no mark taken. Chance for Hudson, round into the left foot goes Paul Hudson, and easily as you like, he kicks a goal. Hudson's second goal for the match is Hawthorn's 17th, and after trailing by one stage in the third quarter, at one stage in the third quarter by 33 points, they now lead by 22 points.
Yes, an amazing turnaround. One of the greatest teams of all time, this Hawthorn side. I know Peter McKenna's been singing their praises for years, and I think he's right, because they've just turned in an amazing performance today.
2 goals to Paul Hudson. 17-14, plays 14-10. Pritchard rides the bump, but can't take the football initially. Down to half forward, Tony Hall. They're steamrolling them now. Short chip in the air. Platten may just get there. Can't do so. Goes to ground. Scott, he is ripped away from the football, but not before he gets it to Stoneham. Stoneham's kick to centre wing. Ben Allen can't pull it in with the one hand. With him is Bairstow. Close to the boundary line. And over. Mark Bairstow looking for a free kick. Not to be.
Yes, playing for the free kick, Sandy, but the umpire will wake up to that one.
Centre wing on the outer side of the ground. Barnes and Morrissey. Barnes plucks it out of the air, gets a short kick. That's probably 7 or 8 metres and another throw.
Hasn't done a bad job, John Barnes. 7 kicks, 4 hand passes and 21 hit-outs.
No, he's pretty lively in the ruck, isn't he, Robbo? He's got a good spring and very mobile around the ground.
Deere showing his mobility across to Jarman, who's certainly picking up a few kicks. There's a good mark to Hinkley, and that would have hurt in the back.
He's in trouble.
Yeah, great mark by Ken Hinkley. Just went for the ball, had his eyes on it only.
There's another good mark. It's Hudson. He's up, but we'll feel that one. Chips short. Jarman, and the mark taken by Gowers. He's come into it, Bernie, Darren Jarman.
Yes, Jarman only 5 possessions up to half-time, but in this second half has really given Hawthorn a lot of drive. There's another player who's come into it, Johnny Platten.
Yep. He's outside 50. Now pumps it high and long. Rogers in from the side. Here's another one to Jason. Well, that's 11. And I've run out of room in my book. 18-14 to 14-10. What a turnaround in this game.
There's all of a sudden 28 points advantage to Hawthorn. And Jason Dunstall has been magnificent at full forward. The 2 Geelong players there flying, Rogers and Stoneham. And the recovery by Jason Dunstall to kick his 11th on his left foot.
Back in the centre, 18-14, 14-10. At half-time, 12-8 to 7-10. Geelong led. Barnes striving hard. Chance for ABLETT, who's been fairly quiet. He's going to take the free kick on this occasion. It'll be his 15th kick, but
he hasn't had the influence on the game, has he, that you would expect from Gary ABLETT?
He goes for a thumper, and he gets it 60 metres towards goal. Punched away by Ayres. Allen tackled by Hocking. Brown on Collins. Collins taps it in front of himself. Now Gary Hocking strives, goes in hard for the football. Bairstow, shot for goal by Bairstow, looks pretty close, it's there. Geelong kick what you would consider a badly needed goal. Bairstow's 4th is Geelong's 15th, so they're hanging in there, the Cats. Hawthorn 18-14, Geelong 15-10.
Yes, I suppose you could say they're just hanging in there, Robbo, because they've found goals very hard to come by in this second half. They're only their 3rd goal since half-time, and you wouldn't expect, even with 15 minutes on the clock, that they could get back into it.
Well, Hawthorn lead by 22 points. There's the time left in the match. So it really is important, these centre bounces. Who can take it away? Malakalis runs away, gets his left foot to the ball, up towards half forward. Awkward bounce. Couch tries to thump it towards Gary Hocking, the Hawthorn runner, on the ground. Now Robert Scott, away to Bairstow. Handball by Bairstow. Brown will have to kick it quickly. He's able to get onto the left foot. He hooks it nicely, but Madigan gets back and just touches it before it hits the post. And it is a registered behind to Geelong. 15-11. Plays 18-14. And you just get the feeling that the fans believe that Hawthorn have got this game won.
Oh.
A very positive Hawthorn side, but that wasn't very positive. Madigan's kick in goes out on the full. A free kick to be taken by Forsman.
Darren Forsman, outside 50. Well, it's certainly not over yet. If Geelong can get another one here, they're right back in town. Couch is doing his best. Goes over the top, pressure on Brown, gets the handball away. ABLETT, miraculous ABLETT. Oh, the master. The master.
Gee, I said he'd been a bit quiet, but it was premature, wasn't it? I mean, that's the sort of thing that can give the team the lift they need.
Well, if anything will give them a lift, that certainly will, as we see this in replay. Under all sorts of pressure, Gary ABLETT. Just able to swing that around his body, not taking possession of it. Almost a soccer-like goal there from Gary ABLETT, his first score for the afternoon.
The fans from both sides have come to life now. Geelong making a mini charge. Barnes wins it, but it's taken by Gowers. Kicks it towards half forward. The bounce is good for Pritchard, who taps on, but no one at home for him. Rogers tidies up, then goes defensively and very wide. Forsman over the line.
Well, the Cats really can't afford to let Hawthorn get a goal here. They've got to make sure that they kick the 3 goals if they're to win this match. Platten. Endeavours were fantastic. Never question him. Bairstow's kick. Got a little bit too much height on it there for Lamb. Gowers a good punch. Jarman in to give Gowers a chop out. Left foot kick by Jarman is good. Finds Hall. Hall, who's been a little quiet. Kick is brilliant. Right onto Dunstall's chest. And he'll kick from about 40 metres.
There's Tony Hall. Hasn't had a great influence on the game. Still, he's taken 8 marks, Robbo. He's had 14 possessions. Been closely attended by Ken Hinkley. Now, Jason Dunstall to equal the opening round goal-kicking record.
Dunstall's kick floats away with the breeze. And it's through for a behind. He's kicked 11-3. 18-15 to 16-11. Miles to kick it back in for Geelong. Not quite sure which way to go. Straight up the ground would be the best shot.
Stoneham.
Lovely kick. Where are the crumb gatherers? Oh, down goes ABLETT, Malakalis, Stoneham. Hawthorn hunting in packs. Umpire finds a very, very iffy free kick, and it goes to Stoneham at half back for the Cats.
Barry Stoneham's kick up towards the wing. Platten waits in front. He doesn't have to worry. It's a mark to 100 gamer Ray Jenke, and that could just about be 50. So hopefully Ray will be celebrating tonight. It's been a long time coming for him, but well done. Taylor's kick. Hinkley hammers clear. Scott Stoneham did the shepherding against Hall and came off second best. He's in trouble behind play.
Very similar to an incident last year in one of the finals, Sandy.
ABLETT slow to get rid of it. Platten working hard and eventually taken over the line.
It doesn't look too good, Stoneham, in that clash with Tony Hall.
But it's critical, Bernie, because now Taylor is on his own.
Exactly, and he won't be feeling too good for a while, I wouldn't think, Barry Stoneham.
Cramp for Platten, but he'll be okay.
Also Scott.
Well, they're going down to like 9 pins at the moment. Bairstow. Scott up again. But caught and must lose it. No, says the umpire. Malakellus besieged by Jarman. He's bumped out of it and that one hurt. It's do or die now. Malakellus. Couch. Shrugs one. Caught on the second. Gets it away to ABLETT. A hurried left foot kick is high. Up towards the forward line. Ayres sees it thumped away with Brown. Over the line and another throw in. Jarman in trouble.
It's been a pretty warm day here at Waverley Park. Expected top of 25. So the players certainly starting to feel the pinch. A few players going down with cramp in this last quarter.
In Geelong's left forward pocket, a real struggle. Jenke gives away and puts it over. Umpire Brian Sheehan gives the all clear for a boundary throw-in. Geelong fans obviously looking for a free kick. Ruck work being done by Madigan. Handley, still a chance. No, it's knocked away from ABLETT. And before Forsman can get there, we'll have another throw-in. 18-15, plays 16-11. Hawthorn lead by 16 points. We've got just over 10 minutes left, and Stoneham looks to have recovered from that heavy knock.
Beautiful tap onto Bairstow. Trevor Poole a chance here. The Cats won't give in yet. Poole gets his first. Geelong fight back. 18-15. Plays 17-11. What a game.
A terrific game of football. Geelong certainly won't lie down either. Only 10 points of difference. They're getting back into it. They've kicked 3 goals in this final quarter. Trevor Poole finishing that off with a lovely running kick at goal. And now the flow has started to turn around Geelong's favour.
$10 points the margin. 10 minutes remaining. Barnes looks for that mighty thump again against Deere. Doesn't get it. But the Cats have certainly lifted. Poole, however, loses it to Paul Deere. He pumps Hawthorn deep into attack. Dunstall can't take it. Stoneham close to the boundary line, but he gets an effective defensive kick. First to it will be Jarman. Does it beautifully. Oh, the umpire said he went out.
Oh, can't believe it.
Well, he was right on the spot, the umpire. He was very close to the boundary line, ducked back towards the boundary line.
Jarman can't believe it, but we have a throw-in. In Hawthorn's attacking zone. Morrissey comes over the top. Down to Platten. Johnny Platten snaps into full forward. Dunstall is besieged. And it hits the behind post. So a throw-in in Hawthorn's right forward pocket. Stoneham up after that very heavy knock. Critical time now for the Cats. Barnes can't get it away. Taylor there also. Hinkley in strongly, goes to ground. He's still there and he gets it out towards Malakellus. Well done by Hinkley.
He's been very steady, hasn't he, Sandy, today across that half-back line, picking up the very dangerous Tony Hall.
Crowd of almost 35,000. It surprised me. I thought there'd be more just looking around. But 35 is the official figure. Tony Hall trying to do it all on his own. Steve Hocking away, off to Couch. Gary Hocking combining as well. Can they get something going here? Hocking and Couch. Oh, Hocking almost got claimed by Deere, but he gets it away. Forsman bounced off the chest of Brownless. Back to Couch, who's followed it all the way down. Shrugs the tackle. Kicks wide, wanting Brown. Over the line.
Well, much too wide, Sandy. Ridiculous play. He's in the middle of the ground.
Yep.
I know the lead was out there. You just have to ignore those types of lead and go to the goal face.
Anderson preparing to come on for the Hawks.
Yes, it was a critical kick, wasn't it? Geelong did it very well with their hands from the full back line into the centre, but then indirect play there by Paul Couch. Boundary throw in left half forward for Geelong. Ayres. Oh, that could nearly be a free kick. No.
Amazing.
Well, it's obvious that the umpires feel that the player being pushed is on his way down anyway before he's being tackled.
But surely if a player ends up in the middle of a player's back, even if he's on the ground, it has to be a free kick from in the back.
10 points, Hawthorn lead. We've got just under 8 minutes left. Gary Hocking, he's tried hard. This could nearly be a silly thing, though. No, he takes the football away from Andrew Collins in the finish. And I'm sure the umpire will be having a few words there. Umpire John Russo and Brian Sheehan, they've controlled the game pretty well. I think we thought that it was getting pretty tight in that third quarter. But to their credit, they've done very well, both umpires. Robert Scott trying hard to get through. Bairstow, sneaky little hand pass. ABLETT, left foot shot by Gary ABLETT is curling back. Oh, it's very close, but it's through from behind. Man, that could have been anything there if that had slipped through.
Amazing,
1-1.
amazing what this man can do. I said he didn't have a great influence, but all of a sudden he's kicked one miraculous goal and almost another one.
9 points the margin. Langford brings it back into play. Madigan in front. ABLETT high. Pritchard at the back. It's a little chip and gains probably 35 metres. Clever kick. Under pressure. Got it down to centre. Under 7 minutes remaining. What a start to the 92 season, gentlemen.
Terrific stuff, yep. Magnificent game of football.
Deere and Barnes to contest. It's Paul Deere. Barnes had front spot. He was trying to swipe it behind. Couch finished up on bottom. Still on centre wing. Deere and Barnes lock arms. Somewhere under that pack is Johnny Platt.
Well, he got that free kick, Robbo, because he was prepared to put his body in. He was at the bottom of the pack where you
There's been a lot like that haven't been paid all day, though.
Well, critical time, I know, but he was prepared to put the body in.
Tony Hall's his target. Barnes in front of him. Hinkley gets it out, but straight to Andy Collins, who goes back towards Dunstall. Couldn't take the mark. Appeared to duck the head a little on that occasion, Bernie.
Well, he may have taken the eyes off it slightly, Sandy.
Great pressure, though. Hocking gets it down towards the centre line. Jarman is called to play on. He's caught Geelong players flat-footed, and this could result in a goal. It has.
Well, the free kick was against Couch because in his endeavours to make the marking contest with Paul Deere, I think it was, he's held on to Paul Deere, and the umpire paid the advantage.
Again, not much in that free kick though, Robbo.
No, not really.
Very little in that, but Jarman, good thinking to play on, take advantage of that advantage rule, but a lot of the Geelong players did stop, expecting him to go back for a kick.
Well, I think that may have been a nail in the coffin of the Cats. 129, plays 114 with 5.5 minutes left. Lamb, ABLETT, one bounce, gives himself a chance to have a good look upfield. He doesn't quite get onto the kick, but it falls into the arms of Gary Hocking, 55 metres from goal. Well, they need 3 goals now to win the game, Geelong. I don't know whether there's enough time, because they'd need everything in their favour. Hocking runs out to the right, hooks the kick a little, finishes in front of the goals. Brown, left foot shot. What an individual effort this is by Brown. Great goal. Second goal to that player. And Geelong will not lie down. 19-15, 18-12, Hawthorn by 9 points.
This very promising player is Paul Brown, only 22 years of age, playing his 14th game of AFL football. Very good in the air and a terrific mover on the ground. Kicked 8 goals in his career up until today. 2 goals makes it 10, so he's a pretty handy performer up on that forward line, Sandy, against the Hawthorn captain.
Tremendous maths, Bernie. 8 and 2 is 10. 9 points the margin in a thriller. Bairstow out of the centre. Reading it off hands nicely is Jenky. He's kicked wide, but maybe not wide enough. Barnes picks it up. Goes to Couch. Back to Barnes. Oh, he's running out of room, and he's run out of room, and bang, down goes Anderson.
right-handed handball by Barnes looked a bit sus.
A couple of very ordinary handballs. The one by Couch looked pretty similar.
Well, it's just in the Cats' attacking zone. Bairstow has an arm held. Ben Allen can't take it. Neither can Paul Deere. So Pritchard soccers off the ground, but straight to Ken Hinkley.
50.
Where is it, he says?
Got to take some risks now, Geelong.
9th kick for Ken Hinkley. It's just been steady all day. Madigan, a good mark.
Great mark by Madigan. A bit of heavy tension there from Gary Hocking when he hit the ground.
He's done very well after being severely dealt with by Handley in the second quarter.
Precious seconds ticking away for Geelong. Hinkley again.
Tell you what, if they could go bang, bang, bang and get a goal with, say, 2.5 minutes left, there'd be some excitement on this ground.
Well, there's still plenty now, don't worry. To half forward. And the mark has been taken by Billy Brownless. Too far, but there's a vacant goal square if he wanted to let go with a long bomb. He doesn't. Kicks wide, and it's effective. Brown out on the long lead, directly in front.
And Billy held onto that ball just nicely. Those extra couple of seconds, the Hawthorn Airs went back to the goals, gave Brown the chance to lead.
Well, a very clever lead there from Brown also. He was going one way, then the other. Unable to gain 10 metres on Gary Ayres again.
2 3/4 minutes remaining. This is a vital kick from 50 metres by Brown, but he's tugged it. The margin is 8 points.
Well, he could have had a very good day today, Brown. He's kicked 2 goals, 5. He's been off target. He kicked 3 behinds in that first quarter.
Hawks lead by 8 points. 2.5 minutes left. Langford's kick in is straight up the ground. Hawthorn mark taken by Madigan. Away they go. Cooper onto Jarman. Jarman looks upfield and delivers it with precision.
It's a kick, isn't it?
Magnificent kick on the run by Jarman.
And pretty to watch that football from the Hawks. Out from fullback, a good mark from Madigan. Quick hand pass on, and what a pass from Jarman.
Well, Dunstall from 45 metres out directly in front. The kick looks pretty good. It's a goal.
That's it.
And he goes to congratulate his teammate, Darren Jarman, who put the ball lace up on his chest.
Now here's a pass again. No pressure on Jarman on that occasion, but still the skills that this man has, quite unbelievable. Both sides of the body, it doesn't matter left or right foot. And Dunstall really appreciating that kick from his teammate, equaling the opening round goal-kicking record.
12 goals. Wonderful achievement. Been a big second half by Jarman, 15 and 5 for the game, but he had a quiet first half. 135 plays 121. Collins has an area. There's a free kick being picked out of this. It'll go probably to Dean Anderson. Just over a minute remaining. He kicks to half forward. Tony Hall was his target. Rogers waiting down in front. Gets around Platten. Has a somewhat tentative bounce. Kicks wide. He's got Forsman out there. But Jenke is there too. And he's swung to Gowes, who gives it to Allen. They're away now. Jarman, who's covering an enormous amount of territory, onto Pritchard. Back again to Taylor. To the 50-metre line. Don't tell me he's going to kick another one. No, he's going short to Hudson. So Hudson just 25 metres out. And I thought for a moment that Andy Collins might sneak in his second goal for the day. Kicked one in the third.
Very unselfish, Sandy, wasn't it?
Hudson has 2. He now has 3. And the Hawks running it out now. 21-15 to 18-13. They lead by 20 points.
Yes, an amazing turnaround by Hawthorn. In trouble at half-time. In real trouble at half-time. 28 points down. They came out in that third quarter. An 8-goal free term to Geelong's 2 goals 2. And away they went. Paul Hudson now getting into the game. He was very well held by Hocking in that first half. He still hasn't had a great influence, but still finishing up with 3 goals.
The dying seconds of the game. It's Barnes still doing the ruck work up against Paul Deere. It was a good bounce for Deere. In fact, Barnes got nowhere near it. Miles defensively punches towards the wing, and Ablett goes over the top to Lamb. Got to beat Collins. Does so. Back to Ablett. And there is the last kick. He won't even take it. A grand victory to Hawthorn. The reigning champions have done it well. 21-15. 141. 20-point victors over Geelong. 18-13. 121.